Wednesday morning, December 28th, 2022, about 6:52 a.m. Just set the rowdy Bronco inside a plastic sled so we can start the acclimating process. Planning on taking this guy out for a early morning run here, maybe at daybreak. We had a big storm system that moved in last Thursday, and it snowed until Saturday afternoon, and it stopped. And we got about 19 inches of snow out of that. I had 4 inches beforehand, and then 19 inches on top of that. And then since then, it snowed a couple more times. It snowed Saturday night, and then snowed Sunday, and snowed a little bit on Monday, a little bit on Tuesday, and here we are on Wednesday, walking back towards the adventure course. All this stuff has been plowed through here with Mr. John Deere. My brother did all that. He did all that on Saturday morning. Came through and plowed all that crap out. I got a little bit of that stuff on camera. I did a little walk around, dealy deal, tracking the storm as it was going through and looking at the progress as the snow was coming down. And I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing that. Let me know and I'll post it. I'm kind of in the middle of editing that video as we speak. Alright, so a lot of snow cover out here on the adventure course. That is covered in that other video that I was just speaking about. Now we're seeing some odd stuff flying by in the background. Mental note, it's not snowing right now. The weather isn't doing anything right now. Totally clear. So whatever odd objects that we're seeing floating past at 6:52 a.m. out here in the middle of the woods, with a 14-degree Fahrenheit temperature, it's certainly not a bug, and it's certainly not dust. Not out here in this snow-covered environment. So whatever that is whatever that is. What I was about to say, though, talking about the other video, is I was coming back here during our storm progress a little bit in between all the snow. There was an orb flyby. There's another one, and was tracking the progress. So this is our over-under Frog Frog Pond Bridge area. The camera's not wanting to focus in on it. Too many things flying past, but it's completely covered up. Alright, so during the storm, I was coming back here and checking the snow and all that good nonsense, checking our snow depths and all that stuff. So once again, if you guys want to see that stuff on camera, let me know, and I'll run that video. Other end of the bridge is almost completely covered up there on the over-under bridge. Sorry for bouncing all over the place. These little flybys kind of catch me off guard and get me a little bit tongue-tied. Over-under brick bridge right there, completely covered. So 19 plus inches of snow on top of the 4 inches existing gives us 23 inches of total snow depth out there. This kind of snow depth is good for the Kyosho Blizzard and the Kyosho Trail King. A lot of that is just nothing but pure powder. So we're going to come out here with the Bronco, moral of the story, with the tracks on it. See how we fare in all this powder. I'm sure we're not going to go anywhere. Most likely I'll end up coming out here and walking out a course around the adventure course and just driving through the tracks, going from footstep to footstep, which is really the only thing you can do when you get into this much snow with those track TRX4s, because the vehicle is just so heavy and the tracks just aren't wide enough to really get up on top of the snow. If they were like 3 inches wide, it'd have a better chance. And if the vehicle was a lot lighter, like if you started with the TRX4 Sport and you stripped all the plastic off of the underside of it, made it as light as possible, and then had a wide track on it all the way around, plastic tracks, not necessarily the rubber tracks, and you'd get around better in the snow. But as it sits right now, they're pretty heavy, and if the snow was packed down a little bit more, they'd have a chance. They definitely have a good chance. We've got lots of videos of all that good fun nonsense, but when the snow is powder and you've got 19 inches or 23 inches of powder on the ground, they don't have much of a prayer in the world of getting through any of that stuff. So the only way to really get through it, I'm trying to get the camera to focus in, excuse me. The only way to really get through that is to walk out a trail. make your footsteps about a foot apart as you're walking out the trail. And just go in between the footsteps as you go. And that's really the funnest thing that you can do with the TRX4s when the snow gets this deep. Alright, so rambling here, a lot of orb flybys as we're walking around out here in the woods at 7 o'clock in the morning, darn near. I just heard a noise. That's why I was turning back over my shoulder. Could be a coyote or something. Lots of orb flybys, can't deny it, everyone. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and right now, just about. Trying to get my camera to focus. It's not snowing at all. I've got the flash on, but if we weren't out in the woods, you'd be able to see the stars up in the sky. If I had a better camera, you'd be able to see the stars up in the sky. What looks like smoke going by, that's my breath. That is breath. But whatever else, that little thing that just flew at the camera and made it go out of focus is something else entirely. See, I've got the autofocus on right now, not to be sidetracked. So whatever the camera's picking up on is whatever the camera's picking up on. And this is a 4K camera on my cell phone. It's not a complete POS. I can record and film 4K videos, but it's just way too much memory space to upload it onto YouTube. So I do the bulk of my videos in 1080p. But some of the videos that are over an hour long, some of those are in 720. But the bulk of my videos are in 1080p. Nevertheless, camera is a 4K camera. And whatever it's focusing in on, whatever those little things are flying past us, don't know. Certainly not insects flying around in 14-degree Fahrenheit temperatures. And they weren't snowflakes. See a couple over here, but a lot more out there on the track. Why is that? Is it the rocks out on the track? A lot of the rocks, there's a high consistency of quartz in all the rocks up here. And I've got a lot of rocks. And 90% of them are just laden with quartz. So a lot of the metal flake in them too that almost looks like gold or pyrite. So does it have something to do with the quartz? I'm not too sure. Camera, once again, trying to autofocus there. Doesn't know what to focus in on. Alright, so there we go. We just wasted 7 minutes of video time as we're not even, haven't even started our run yet. Got the Bronco out here acclimating, talking about our snowfall. Alright, well, we're going to let the truck sit out here and acclimate. And we'll go back out to the adventure course here in an hour or so. A few hours later, currently 9:46 p.m. It is 26.8 degrees Fahrenheit outside, 86 degrees inside. I got our truck keyed on. Let's tighten up our winch just a wee bit here. Might be too much. Gotta find a happy medium. The winch line stays on, but it's not too tight. I suppose that'll work. Go hold the truck and walk out to the adventure course so we don't drain any excess battery driving out there. We can drive other places, of course. We don't have to go out to the adventure course. It's always fun just going out in the woods and blazing a trail. Right now we've got some mad powder on the ground, so not too sure how any of that would go in all reality. Adventure course is right here. Entranceway. A little bit of a snowy wall in front of us. Don't know if we're going to be able to climb that or not. My idea here is to bust through this wall and climb into some pre-existing footprints. Plowing on in. 8274 full of snow up on the front. I don't want to jinx myself. No, those are not waterproof, according to the instructions. But I've got a couple of these winches. One on my Trailfinder 2 in particular has been on there for, wow, pretty much since the day I bought it. Since 2016, it's been underwater several times. It's been rolled over underwater several times. And that winch works awesome still to this day. Never had a problem with it. This one hasn't seen any water, the one that's on my Bronco. But it's seen plenty of snow. But the snow is drier. So the only time that it really experiences any water is when I'm melting the snow off the vehicle. Alright, so we're trying to blast a path through here. Not getting too far. And my throttle finger is slightly wounded at the moment. I had a little incident on Christmas morning chopping up some kindling for my mother for the fireplace. Mother and father, but Mom asked me to chop it up, so got a little too close to my finger with the axe and went through the edge of my fingernail and through the edge of my finger. Almost cut the tip of my finger off on Christmas morning. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Got a little hump right here in the beginning on the entranceway, and I'm trying to flatten that out a little bit. Not quite through it yet. Gonna punch our way in the hard way. I was just driving with my middle finger, because my index finger got the axe. Don't want to waste all our battery trying to punch in through this bank. All our burst here. I'm using a Duratrax Onyx 2S LiPo. This one is 5700 milliamps, so 5.7 amp. And right around 35C discharge rate. We've got a decent punch with it. As we attempt to punch our way into the snowbank. Alright, we made it. Making our way in. This is where it gets interesting. Difficult to film as well. Maybe we shouldn't have stopped. Alright, we're up on the high side. Let's bust out a tape measure and see what we're looking at for snow depth. Of course, we're not in the snow, in the actual powder. Pretty sure we just sink right on down to the chassis if we get into that stuff. Yeah, we're getting about 11.5 inches right here. We did have 19 inches after the storm and another 4 or 5 inches on top of that. But it's been a few days. A lot of wind and whatnot. So some of this stuff is starting to pack down a little bit. Driving through the footprints. This is always a fun time with the TRX4s when the snow is too deep just to drive across the surface. Walk out an area, about a 1 foot gap in between all your footprints. And that turns into a pretty nice trail to crawl through. Lots of ups and downs, a lot of articulation flexing going through there, axle flexing as you weave your way through the footprints. It's never a sure thing. It's always touch and go. But it's a lot of fun. We're going to run out of footprints before too long. I have to start kicking out a new trail. This one leads over towards the over-under rock bridge. Pre-cleared trail from a few days ago. Going uphill and slightly to the left. Alright, dropping into a big hole over here. Pretty wise to back out of that. There's a big old hole right up there. Might be wise to try to avoid that hole altogether. Maybe we can skirt around it to the left a little bit, try to straddle it. Oh, the servo's not strong enough to compensate for that angle. Savox SW 1210 SG in this vehicle. Making it past the rut. Got an uphill climb here. Bumper is dragging. And we're gonna get buried if I keep digging. Try to back up. And it looks like we're gonna have to go backwards and forward a couple times. Try to climb our way out. Pack down the snow without digging ourselves in too deep. And that requires throttle control. Get a little too throttle happy while backing up or going forward, and you might sink it right on down to the frame. Right now I'm just trying to pack the snow in, trying to pack the snow down underneath the vehicle. We are getting further up this hill as we go through this process. Snow-covered Bronco. Great truck. Love this truck. And an awesome vehicle from day one. Other than that stock steering servo burning out early, but I blame not having a Traxxas Complete BEC kit for that. Same thing with my brother's stock steering servo on his Bronco. That burned out pretty quick within the first couple weeks. Mine burned out within the first couple days. I was getting a lot more use out of my truck though. Alright, we're making it. Into the next footprint. Now my niece's TRX4 Sport Trax, we put a Traxxas Complete BEC kit in that thing on day one. And never had a problem with that stock steering servo as of yet. And it's right around a year old now. Same thing with our TRX6 Mercedes-Benz 6x6. We put a Traxxas Complete BEC kit in that thing on day one before we took it out for its very first drive. First thing we did was put in that BEC kit before we even plugged in the battery. We plugged in the battery for the first time, it was going through that BEC kit. Oh, we were getting stuck here. We're getting buried. Off the beaten path. Try to slowly crawl our way out to the left here, if we can. I'm just holding the throttle and holding the steering wheel slightly to the left. Try to take this truck downhill a little bit to climb out if we can. We're not going anywhere. Try to back up and pack the snow down maybe. Truck's gonna want to slide towards the driver's side. It's just leaning over so bad. Trying to inch it backwards a little bit without burying it. A little too much throttle. I'm trying to cut it to the left or right a little bit there. I have to keep going back to the left. Seems to be the only way that we're making progress here. Maybe we can cut back to the right and climb our way back up. Nope. Not enough power out of that Savox servo. Got turned all the way to the right, and we're not moving it at all. We're in a pretty good rut here. And we're finally getting our tracks to turn to the right. Alright, we're making it. We're getting out. No hand of gas required. We're out of that hole. That was a good little trenched out area there. We just managed to track our way through ever so slowly. Continuing on. So when the snow gets this deep, once again, walk out a path and then just crawl through your footprints. It's still a very challenging drive. Well, we're doing the same thing we did last time. Fall into a footprint. Getting sucked right off the trail. We are side hilling a little bit, ever so slightly. We managed to crawl out of that one. Almost up over our roof. For our snow depth between those footprints. Dropping into the next. Very challenging run here. We're driving through footprints. Driver's side track is down in a hole. Suspension is tweaked. Oh, we're falling in deep in the back. Doesn't want to go to the right. We got to go to the left a little bit. I think we're going to try to back up before we sink ourselves here. Start sinking backwards. It's time to go forward again. We have to pull ourselves back downhill again to try to get out of this. Definitely need a stronger steering servo. My brother's Bronco has that ProTech 370 TBL black label. Does a much better job in his truck. With over 600 ounces of torque on 6 volts of electricity. Plenty of power for those tracks. Made our way out of that hole with our Savox servo. Making our way towards the over-under log bridge and rock bridge. Last time we were over here, we had a hard time fitting through that tunnel. We're definitely not going to fit through it right now. That's about a 4-inch gap going through the entranceway on that tunnel. So we're definitely not fitting through that. That is for darn sure. And our footprint's pretty much dead end right down here. So we're going to have to cut a new path and take that somewhere. So let me pause the camera. Well, here, let's just walk out a path. We'll continue from down here by the bridge. Right down here. Oh, I'm walking on the side of a hill and losing my footing. I'm just kind of looking out on the adventure course and trying to plot a cool route for us to cruise through. A lot of stuff completely buried down here over under Brick Bridge way down there. I don't know if I can zoom in on it. Right in front of the teeter-totter, you can see a small gap in the center of the screen. That is the center of the Brick Bridge. But on either side, it is just filled right up with snow. We'll actually walk down that way. Have our path go in that general direction. This is what you do. Whoa, I stepped on a rock. Let's get pretty deep back in this area. Let's get a look at our brick bridge. Not getting underneath that one today. That is for darn sure. Maybe with the SCX-24 you might get in there. Definitely not getting out of there. Previous footprints. During the snowstorm. Top side of our bridge. Back side of the bridge. Teeter-totter, completely buried. A lot of snow built up underneath the log bridge too. Alright, so we made our way back out here. We're going to make our way back up to the truck, which is all uphill. Keep our footprints a little bit closer on this one. We're just walking out our little path here going around. Sorry for the terrible camera angles. And working our way back uphill towards the truck. A little switchback as we go up around this hill. Towards the podium, which we're not going to be able to get underneath that thing today, that's for sure. A little bit too low. Might get underneath it with the Blizzard. Not getting underneath it with the Bronco. Alright, we made our way back around. We'll continue on. We'll try to straddle this footprint over here on the left. We don't drop in as far as we did before. Are the deep lug paddle tracks worth it? Totally. Totally worth it. You would not be doing this with a set of tires. Doesn't matter what size. You start dropping into some of these footprints, you're not climbing back out with a set of tires. Now we're going from one footprint path, the old path, to the new path right here. Making the transition. So we're punching through some old snow with the truck right now. Rocking it slightly left and right as I'm crawling in, dragging the back bumper the whole time. Well, we're getting a little bit too far. I have to try the old back up and pack down the snow routine here. Yeah, the tracks are totally worth it, especially if you plan on driving in the snow. Definitely worth it. All right, so our first footprint is right over here, just to the right of the driver's side or passenger side track. We're starting to fall into it. I'm holding a hard left turn here, trying to keep that truck out of that footprint. Totally flexing out the suspension as we go on the truck. Avoiding this footprint and trying to set us up for this next one. I'm going to try to straddle that one, I believe. Crawling out of this one. Approaching this next one. Going to try to straddle that rut, keep the track on the high side. As the front end drops in, this could be bad. Nope, it's not looking so good. I'm going to try to back up a little bit and reposition before it gets too late. Oh, it's too late. We're sinking. Alright, so at this point in time, I'm going to cut the wheels a little bit to the right. And see if we can get back into that groove. Tracks are rubbing on the rock sliders. East the back track is, we're totally flexed out on the driver's side. Stronger steering servo, once again, right here would be helpful. We might be able to use that steering servo to torque our way through the snow and up and over that little obstacle in front of us. We'll try turning left once again and try to pull out of this footprint and back into the fresh powder. Having trouble making that right. Servo just doesn't have enough juice to crank those tracks over. Not through the snow. Now the Savox servo, it's no slouch. It's pretty strong for what it is. I think it's right around 387 inch ounces on 6 volts. But still, not quite enough. Need a little bit more to get the job done. especially for situations like this, or when you start messing around in any kind of slush or heavy mud, you know, that would slow your tracks down from turning left and right. Whatever's going to bind them up. You have to be careful. You get too strong of a steering servo in there, and you start binding your tracks up, and you're forcing it to turn when it doesn't want to turn. You could possibly damage steering components or break things altogether. So we're making our way through that. Finally broke through the wall. Continuing our way uphill. Limited angles. I apologize for our limited camera angles, but when you're driving through a trench, your camera angles are very limited. We can see the truck from the front, or we can see it from the back, or we can see it from the sky view up over top. Not very well from the sides. The snow is over our roof damn near. Darn near over our roof. We're trying to cut our way into another footprint. We're going uphill. In between the over-under log bridge and this other hill over here on our left. There is a string of boulders right over here on the right. I slid on one right up here. So we might be kind of stuck on the edge of one of those. Front end is trying to punch its way through a snowbank right up there. Here's a better idea of what we're looking at. We are looking down on the truck currently. Level ground. Looking down on the vehicle. Big wall of snow in front of us, heading into the next footprint. Probably be better off coming up here just a little bit to the side. Try to stay on the high side as we come into this next one if we can. We can blast our way through. Crawling through the footprint. Attempting to punch our way through. As I was saying, a crawl like this can be very challenging. Just going through the footprints. So if the snow is too deep to go across the surface, then just walk out a path. Drive between the footprints. Now we clicked it up in a second gear briefly. Try to back up a little bit. Get a different shot through this trench. It's like driving through the tundra. You're out in the Alaskan wilderness or Antarctica. Trying to make your way through the tundra. Basically what we're trying to do in these crazy snow depths. Climbing up on the bank side right there. Oh, falling in. That was a good little angle if we could have held it. Doing our way through the snowbank. Alright, we're up and out. I don't know if we can drive on the surface or not. We haven't tried that. We're up on the surface right now. We're doing it. Guess the snow is packed down enough that we can get away with that at the moment. We're coming up on a footprint, and it's a deep one. Sun coming up there in the background between the trees. That's a hole that I was standing in while filming, so if I fall into that, man, it might be over with. We're heading that way. Since we're doing so good on the surface there, maybe we'll try to climb back up onto the surface for a minute. If we can bypass this, bypass this little trail here. We're gonna drop into that hole. Another nice thing about the tracks, all that surface area, when you're dropping into things like this, you have a lot more control with your vehicle versus having tires. Dropping into a similar type situation. We're forcing her in right now. Don't want to get wedged up down in here. Nice little stinger bumper we got going on there with our snow. Looks like a stinger. Alright, we're climbing out and up onto the surface, bypassing our footprints over on the other side. Just take it right up here to the right. See if we can square this baby up a little bit so we're not side hilling so much. Here we go. That's not bad. Alright, well, let's grab a tape measure once again and see what kind of snow depth we're sitting on here with the tracks. Alright, so right around 10 inches back here. And that went in pretty easy. And it's not a fight driving that tape measure into the snow. So that gives you an idea of the track's overall flotation and ability. If they were a little bit wider, it'd be much better off. I know there's only so much room in there to work with, but a little bit wider would definitely be better off. Alright, let's make our way up the hill. We'll see how far we can ride across the surface. Going uphill. Just to the left of the brick bridge. Rock bridge, whatever bridge that is. Slow and steady. Doing it all right. We had a struggle going up this hill the last time we were out here. We drove up this little bank that I'm driving down. We might bury the front end right here. I might have to cut it to the right. Gotta skate out of it. Going downhill, trucking in and downhill. Could bury it. Yep, we're getting close to burying it. All downhill. Try to square it up and get back out of that if I can. Maybe not cut so hard to the left. Widen up our angle a little bit. Maybe we can make it up over the top of the rock bridge. Keep on trucking in the way. Just keep on trucking on up the hill if you can. Oh, we are leaning to the right. Listing to the right. I don't know if I'll be able to square it up without falling in. No, not looking so good. See if we can back out of this and reapproach it before we get buried. We might get buried trying to back out. Oh, we are working our way into a problem. Gotta hook it to the right. Getting deeper and deeper as we go. Trying to back down that path once again, but we're off the beaten path by quite a ways at this point in time. you're out in the wilderness with a real vehicle, this would this could quickly become a desperate situation. We're just going to try to pack down this path beneath us. Maybe we can work our way out. Maybe we can. I don't know. It's getting deeper and deeper. We keep sliding to the right. Oh, we might be bottomed out on that one. Yep, I think we're bottomed out on the chassis. Yep, we're stuck. Little hand of God. Helping hand. We got a nice little hole going on over there. Pretty deep pit. I'd like to try to climb over this bridge, but we are just not lined up at all. This is all slide hilling on the way over there. So no matter what we do, the truck's going to keep dropping down on that right-hand side as we try to make an approach. Wicked angle there. So if we can pack this trail down a little bit, maybe, as we work our way in. Might be able to slowly square ourselves up. Oh, maybe not. Falling down back into the same trap as we had before. Going over into the trees. I don't think we're going to be able to make it up the hill. Not like this. That's for sure. Maybe spot drop it real quick. Spot dropping it back a little bit so we're crawling through our previous rut. Oh, we're dropping in. And we're dropping in further. But we're still side hilling. Still side hilling a little bit. And we're just dropping right on down to nothing. It's a problem up against the tree. Oh, I know where to go. Buried again out in the tundra. Another hand of God. Clear our tracks out a little bit. Put our truck down back on the powder there. Fix our stuff. Bungee net, pretty bad shape. She's been on there since day one. Well, not day one, but maybe week 3 or week 4 it was on there. And it's well worn out. All the O-rings between the rows were breaking apart. Bungee has lost its bungee. And time to replace it. Heading off the course. Old stump there on our right. Around 3 o'clock there, 4 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Try a little bit more throttle. Making our way over to the log bridge. Not crawling, just throttle it out. Throttle it out. Come on, baby, go, go, go. Nope, we're not going to make it. We can make it back up here. That's wide open. Stock gearing, stock motor. This motor has a lot of time on it. Oh, we go to get up to the sand hill. Can we make it? Can we make it? Can we make it? Nope, we're not going to make it. Oh, sinking fast. are buried. Right up to the frame. Pull forward and we're out. Right now we are just to the left of the sand hill, and there is a rock wall coming down here. So buried underneath that snow, there's some rocks. We're off course, trying to climb back down the course. No particular reason other than it being a somewhat steep hill. We're getting buried in the process. A new approach, getting into some fresh snow. At least one track. Half on, half off. Slow crawling. And we're digging. Back down our path a little bit. Got a little further and we're digging. Side hilling, so we're sliding to the right. This could be a bad situation. Keep sliding to the right. Track hop back there. We're stuck. Yeah, we're not getting up that. And we're stuck again. Crazy deep powder. Truck's not getting any lighter. Driving around in that stuff. Heading into Old Stump. Circling past my niece's cabin. Up and over one of the stumps. Don't do that very often. See if we can make our way up on one of these bridges. Oh! I'm sliding, truck's leaning. Hopefully we're gonna make it that way. Jet skiing our way through the snow. Get a straight on shot at this. Bypass through our trail. Oh, into a hole. Low spot on the bridge. Ah, departure angle. We are in it. Strong steering servo once again might help out with this situation. Trying to push the truck with the servo. Rocking it left and right ever so slightly. We are down in a hole. There's one log on the bridge that drops down about 3 inches right there between that other log, and that's what we keep falling into, is that other gap down there. Even if we climb in, we have to climb up out of that gap before we start making our approach up the hill. Truck is completely buried at this point in time. No backing out. We are right up to the back window. I don't think we're going to crawl out either because we're sitting on logs and the snow is over the hood of the vehicle. It'll be a tough feat trying to climb out of here. If we start tweaking any further to the right or to the left, we're going to get a track down in between those logs and we'll really be stuck. Not making it up that one. Failed attempt. Let's make it a little bit more favorable. Still going to be a challenge, still uphill. Just knock that lip down a little bit on the face. Give us a little bit more of an advantage. We're still at one heck of a disadvantage here, trying to climb up this bridge. Don't think a tired vehicle will get any further today either. Not in these snow conditions. We're not going to make it. Poor winch. It's covered in snow. Alright, no bridge. Oh, fell into a footprint when I wasn't looking. I looked up for a second to wipe the snow off, and there we go, stuck in a footprint. Ah, no way, we're buried. I can't believe it. That easy. Yeah, truck's getting pretty heavy. Ah, buried again, man. Alright, well, we're just basically cruising around, trying to see how the Traxxas does out here in this mad powder. Oh, we're getting stuck. Whatever angle the truck is leaning on when it's side hilling, you gotta be careful, it really starts to drop in. Oh, coming up on a tree stump. Unavoidable. Ah, getting buried. On a soft spot. We're up to the chassis. Underneath the teeter-totter. Cutting across the hole we were just previously stuck in, heading down towards the over-under brick bridge. This is the actual brick bridge and not a rock bridge or any other kind of bridge. I actually got the bridge right. If we fall into that hole down there, we're going to be in trouble. So if we can weasel our way around and get on top of this bridge. I should have cut over a little bit earlier. Don't think we're going to be able to do it. Nope. We are committed in the direction that we're going. We're going to get stuck, that is for sure. No doubt about it. fall in there, don't fall in there. Keep on going, keep on going. Ah, we made it. Flirting with danger right there. There's the brick bridge entranceway right there. Definitely flirting with danger. Little footprint, pulling out of the footprint, trying to make a right turn going uphill. And we're stuck up to the chassis. In too deep. Clear it out. Set it back on our track. Highly doubtful that we can make it back up this hill, but we'll give it a try. That same line that we just ran past that brick bridge, I'm sure we'll probably fall in on it if we're not careful. I say fall into the brick bridge. That snowed in opening. Oh, we're crawling past. Heading uphill. This is the path just to the right of the teeter-totter. So you've seen what this hill looks like in the summertime. Pretty good grade on it. Pretty much the same angle as the teeter-totter. Maybe slightly steeper. You're dropping down into a footprint there. Where I walked down the hill. I wasn't planning on going back up. So we're crawling through that footprint currently. Trying to. Another long video from RC80. Tell you what, one thing my videos are good for is when you're wrenching on your RCs. If you're wrenching on your RC car, doing an RC build, and you like to work in front of the TV, you want some background noise going on, put my channel on. Throw on some videos, some crawling videos. We've got all kinds of videos that are an hour plus in length, or 45 minutes and up. Makes real good background noise as you're doing your builds and projects. Something to keep in mind. Good background noise. Building videos, wrenching videos. Throw them on, let the commercials fly by. Let's keep on working. At least the commercials are a lot shorter than what they are on regular TV. You don't have to wait 5 minutes for a commercial. Watch 15 seconds and skip the rest, I'll be happy. Technically all you need to do is watch 15 seconds of a commercial to give the person credit on that channel. Anything less would be uncivilized. I usually let the commercials go for 20 or 25 seconds when I'm watching somebody else's channel before I hit skip. Just give them the benefit of the doubt. If you want to support your channel, your favorite channels, watch the commercials, or at least a couple seconds of them, 15 seconds. And that does a lot of good for the channel. Otherwise, it's just a video. Gotta punch our way through the hill here. We're making it. We're beating down the path. It's definitely a struggle. If you go at this too fast, we're going to get stuck. That rear breakover angle on those tracks. We're losing punch on the battery. Alright, so our 5,700 milliamp battery is losing some punch here. That's wide open. Too many times punching it. If we push it any further, we could damage our battery. Drain one cell down lower than the other cell, and get to a point where it's not recoverable as far as recharging it. Or we might have to jump start it if we drop it down below that threshold, that safe charging threshold We might have to jump start it with a regular NiCad charger, an old school 15-minute quick charger. But jump starting the battery is not terrible. The thing that I don't like so much is the idea of the cells getting out of balance to the point of where they're unrecoverable. Like if you drain one cell down to nothing. All green on the inside, I believe. Unless we got a red light going on down there somewhere. Oh, we were flashing red down there. So our ESC might be getting warm, perhaps. Perhaps we're getting a little bit too warm. And it cut us down to half power. That is a possibility. It is a workout pushing these tracks around. Yeah, that was a pretty good run in the snow. We're almost to the top of the hill. We're making our way through. But our battery is just running out of juice here. ESC is flashing red. Battery's had the biscuit. We're climbing through a wall of snow. And even if we do make it through this, we've got a long ways to go before we get back out of here. All right, boys and girls, so a little fun out here on the adventure course with the old rowdy Bronco. Snow is super deep. Once again, we hit it with the tape measure a few times. We're getting 10 inches and 12 inches, and it was 23 inches or 24 inches out here the other day, so it's packed down a little bit. But still, pretty darn deep for cruising around with the old Bronco. Not too bad up on the surface there for what it is. Once again, this snow is powdery. I mean, it's really not much. It's not stopping, not too much stopping you from pushing your hand through it. A little bit of drag there at a full spread. But still pretty powdery for the most part. Not doing too bad on the surface for what it was. Footprints is definitely a fun way to go. And right now we are cut short by our battery. So that's going to do it, boys and girls. Very much appreciate it for y'all sticking around and watching the video. Questions or comments are always welcome. And we will see you all on the next one. Thanks again.